This podcast is an invitation to feel and experience the souls of famous old Hollywood homes and to have an in-depth journey to the areas where they're located through interviews with longtime residents. Either you're a fan of old Hollywood in Los Angeles, planning to have a vacation, or, an even bigger step, considering a certain area for your future home. This is your opportunity to receive valuable information and insightful advice you won't find anywhere else.
Hello, and welcome to my podcast. Are you in the mood for California? Today we'll explore and feel the historic gold mining town of Julian, followed by an interview with amazing Michael and Janessa Cotugno.
First thing that comes to mind would be serene. It's very peaceful. We go each morning, we have a bit of a routine. We go to the gym in the morning. A friend has a CrossFit gym and it's on 5 acres, but surrounded by rolling hills in a barn. So you're there, there's cows all around. All you see is nature. It's just picturesque and quiet and peaceful. And
yeah, the little downtown is very cute as well. It's very walkable. Have a kind of a glimpse into what life would be like maybe back in like mining times. Very family friendly. We have a really fun 4th of July parade where you pretty much know half the people in the parade.
Masha Korpacheva is a California-based realtor and a member of the National Association of Realtors in Los Angeles. She's an advocate for selling and buying homes with soul and practicing mindfulness in real estate. With master's degrees in spiritual psychology and linguistics, Masha brings all of her skills to work with her clients. An intuit and empath, she has touched many lives with her outstanding ability to see beyond the visible and helping to come to better understanding of issues and their resolutions. An adventurous world traveler, from climbing Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania to exploring the Galapagos Islands, Masha has a particular passion for the City of Angels. Having landed in this paradise and adopted it as her home, she's been sharing old Hollywood stories since 2007. In the mood for California, feel the soul of old Hollywood.
And now, are you ready to experience Julian? At the crossroads of California highways 78 and 79, approximately 50 miles northeast of San Diego, lies Julian, a charming small mountain community in Southern California. Positioned amidst oak and pine forests, it finds its home between the north end of the Cuyamaca Range and the south slope of Volcan Mountain. This historic gold mining town proudly bears the designation of a historical district, preserving its early California frontier charm. Pioneer storefronts, historic sites, and guided tours of Eagle and High Peak mines contribute to Julian's timeless allure. The town's character is shaped by its rich history, with tourism emerging as its primary industry, closely followed by cattle raising. Julian distinguishes itself among Southern California communities with its unique cold winter climate, perfect for cultivating apples. The town's apples, renowned for their quality, find their way into local delights such as apple pies, apple cider, and the fruit itself. Come October, Julian transforms into a bustling hub, baking a staggering 10,000 apple pies a week to cater to Southern California tourists drawn by the promise of fall colors, cool breezes, a frontier atmosphere, and the celebrated Apple Festival. The origins of Julian trace back to a California mining camp established in 1869 when Fred Coleman unearthed placer gold at Coleman Creek. In 1870, Drew Bailey, a cousin and ex-Confederate soldier alongside Mike Julian, founded Julian City. The town rapidly evolved, boasting 50 houses, 3 hotels, 4 stores, 2 restaurants, and even a schoolhouse by the summer of 1872. Hard rock mines in the Julian and Banner area yielded a substantial $4 to $5 million in gold ore by 1879. Unlike other mining camps, Julian's survival post-mining era was attributed to its favorable climate, fertile soil, and proximity to San Diego. The first edition of the Julian Sentinel, the town's inaugural newspaper, hit the presses in 1887. Since James Madison introduced the first apple trees in the early 1870s, Julian apples have garnered acclaim, winning blue ribbons at prestigious events like the Chicago World's Fair of 1893 and the San Francisco World's Fair of 1915. Julian experiences 4 distinct seasons. Springs and falls bring cool breezes contrasting with hot summer days and cool nights. Occasional winter snowfall from December to March adds a touch of magic to this Southern California gem. The town's climate serves as a microcosm, offering a spectrum ranging from desert to high mountain climates within a mere 25-mile radius. Thus, Julian stands as a testament to resilience, history, and the bountiful harvests that have painted its seasons for over a century. And here we are. Welcome to Julian. I'm so happy that Michael and Janessa Cotugno are joining me today. Michael has been a practicing attorney in California since 1996 and a trained mediator since 1998, focused almost exclusively on family law. He obtained his master's degree in spiritual psychology in 2011, during which time he transformed his way of practicing law from primarily an adversarial-based conventional law practice to conscious divorce, which is focused on empowering clients to utilize their divorce as an opportunity for healing and growth. He helps clients navigate and avoid the pitfalls associated with a traditional divorce and provides guidance, facilitates communication, assists with negotiating, and handles all the legal paperwork so separating couples can focus on what is most important to them without the exorbitant expense, time, and hassle of a typical divorce. Michael works alongside his office administrator and wife, Janessa Cotugno, who also obtained her master's in spiritual psychology in 2012. Janessa provides clarity and structure to client communications and case management so couples can feel informed and supported as they move through the challenges of separation. She also oversees business operations for conscious divorce. Please check out their website at www.consciousdivorce.com. You can also find them on Facebook at www.facebook.com/consciousdivorce. And please check out their YouTube at www.youtube.com/consciousdivorce. Their phone number is 619-800-1801. They're serving all counties in California. Michael and Janessa will share with us what it feels like to live in Julian. Hello, Michael and Janessa.
Hi, Masha.
Hello.
Oh my God, I was really looking forward to our conversation about Julian, and it happens to be actually one of my favorite little towns in Southern California.
Oh, nice. Yeah, ours too.
Wonderful. No wonder you picked this as your place to live. And just to say a couple of words for the listeners who never heard about it. So it's San Diego's little treasure, and it's a very historic mountain town with old-fashioned stores and restaurants and scenic hiking trails and very, very friendly country atmosphere. So would you say those words actually describe Julian a little bit?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Quaint, I would always add as well.
Quaint, quaint. Yes, very true. So could you please share your experience of living in Julian? What actually attracted you to this historic town?
Well, we were looking to get out of the city. We were living in Mission Hills previously, and our youngest was finishing up at Point Loma High School, and we had some flexibility on where to go. And we just did a camping trip up to Julian, and just really loved it. We wanted a place where it was a little quieter, a little more laid back. You don't really run into homeless people sleeping in your driveway like we did down in the city.
Right.
Yeah, it just was it just had so much going for it that we decided to just kind of check it out. And our first year, we just rented a place just to make sure that we were okay with the 45-minute drive to a grocery store and that kind of thing.
Right. Yes.
Ended up loving it, bought a house, and been here ever since.
Oh my
About
God.
7 years ago or so. Yeah.
Yeah. And I really love about living up here is just the immersion in nature that you have up here. There's just so many trees and wildlife. Actually have some seasons too, which is a very fun kind of experience. Having grown up in LA, like it didn't ever really have snow to deal with. Mike grew up in New Jersey, so he had a lot of experience with snow. But for me, that's been really fun.
Oh my God. So you actually have snow in Julian.
We do.
Oh, yeah. We had just this past winter, just an overnight storm brought in probably close to 2 feet of snow. That was probably the most that we've had since we've been up here. And it typically snows about 4 or 5 times a year, and which is fantastic, except everybody from down the hill, that's what we call San Diego,
right?
Down the hill, decides to come to drive up in the snow to come check out the snow and bring their kids to play and that sort of thing. But they generally have a little issue with mountainy, slippery roads, and often is a lot of accidents that happen during those times. So I would caution folks, maybe you don't want to rush right up as soon as it starts snowing in Julian.
But it's a fun time. It's such a cute spot up here to experience that. And what is so fun about being up here is that you only have like an hour and 20 minutes in the air at the beach. So you can have kind of like the best of all those options. You can go to the beach and go to the snow, go out to the desert. It's all pretty close by within an hour.
But at the same time, Michael mentioned that it takes about 45 minutes to get to the grocery store. Is that true?
Yeah. We typically go down to Poway for shopping. There's a one that's in Santa Isabel that's not too far. It's maybe 10 minutes away. They have a good amount. They have great cuts of meat and that sort of thing. But for our more comprehensive shopping, we typically end up going down.
For the bigger box stores, that kind of thing.
Right.
So.
Right. And you do not mind at all that it is pretty remote still, so it doesn't bother you.
I probably preferred a little more remote. To be honest.
There's definitely, I think, an adjustment period when you first move up here from where we were before, where you could walk to the market and have all kinds of restaurant options and all of that. But honestly, I feel that I enjoy having that drive now because there's so much beautiful countryside that you get to drive through. It's just a different kind of experience than a freeway drive.
Yes, totally makes sense. I absolutely understand. Yes. So how would you actually describe the unique atmosphere and overall vibe of Julian to someone who has never been there? It's, it's scenic, beautiful. It's like one way of describing Julian. But if you were to describe like the feelings that it evokes, like while you're living there, or, for someone who would like to visit, maybe they would want to get to experience this kind of feeling?
I'd probably say first thing that comes to mind would be serene. It's very peaceful. We go each morning, we have a bit of a routine. We go to the gym in the morning. A friend has a CrossFit gym and it's on 5 acres, but surrounded by rolling hills in a barn. So you're there, there's cows all around. All you see is nature. It's just picturesque and quiet and peaceful. And
yeah, the little downtown is very cute as well. It's very walkable. Have a kind of a glimpse into what life would be like maybe back in like mining times. Very
Mhm.
family friendly. We have a really fun 4th of July parade where you pretty much know half the people in the parade. So
Nice.
that's pretty fun. And of course, Julian, we haven't even talked about this, but Julian is pretty famous for its apples. It's apple pie, apple cider. Everybody comes in the fall to pick apples and enjoy that part of Julian that has made it a destination because of, its climate here. We can grow apples, which require, the colder climate. It's
Right.
kind of a fun, different experience for somebody from Los Angeles or San Diego to have a little bit of that fall back east kind of feeling. So there's that agriculture background. There's lots of ranchers around as well. So yeah, I definitely feel like it's kind of a homey kind of feeling, very quaint.
Yes, yes.
You definitely feel like it's not that far of a drive, but you feel like you're so remote from any city. I think it's one of the most isolated towns in Southern California. One of the last small towns really left in Southern California.
Very true. And I also liked, Michael, the way you said that it is serene. And with this word comes this peacefulness that we often look for and seldom find in big cities. And Southern California is famous for, big bustling cities and, cars, driving around and lots of people. And probably if you come to Julian, you can just kind of like wash away this dust of a big city and be in a complete relaxed atmosphere.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When we first moved up here, I think it was probably the first week or so, I had a hard time sleeping because it was just too quiet and too dark.
Yes, you could probably see beautiful stars because there is no light pollution there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Julian is part of Dark Sky Network. So we're actually internationally recognized for that. And we have star viewing events as well, where, amateur and professional, I would think, astronomers come out with their telescope, set it up in the park, and it's open to the public. It's really an amazing way to kind of get to see the Milky Way and all the awesome stars and planets.
Right. Wow. Because usually people go for that to Joshua Tree.
Mhm.
And I think Julian would be a perfect destination for that as well. That's great.
Mhm.
Very nice. Well, Julian sounds like an amazing retreat, but you live there full time. So could you please talk a little bit more about your favorite activities or experiences that you like to engage in while living in Julian?
Sure. I would say for one, definitely hiking is fantastic. There's so many great places around here to go hiking. Another thing, we have a Jeep and we like to do off-roading trails and stuff, and they're so accessible. The desert is just over the hill. Like basically we're at the top of a mountain range here where you just go a little bit further east than us and it's all desert. You just look out to Anza Borrego Desert. So that's another great option that's super close by. Other than that, I mentioned earlier that we have such a great tight-knit community. It's very supportive. Probably our main social life has to do with going to the gym in the morning, and like all of our friends go there. They're good friends of ours that own it, and from there we ended up having just great friendships with so many folks that are local, and they're so supportive. Anytime you need anything, everyone's there to help, and it's really nice to have that, I guess you say, kind of social capital of being in a smaller town. That really kind of sums up the thing that I love most about Julian is that I would say, looking back a little bit, I was a little bit scared to come up to some place like kind of such a small town because I thought we were just going to be hermits and not really go out much because there's, you would think, quote unquote, there's not much to do. There's not much of a, typical city nightlife or something, but we're all so, kind of on board with the same kind of things with our friends as far as outdoor activities, doing, kind of healthier things.
Nice.
So we get together a lot for potlucks and softball games,
pick up soccer, and we'll, end up maybe camping at someone's property. That's pretty fun as well. People
nice, because the
acres of
properties
land
are
can
so large.
have fun camp out. So yeah, there's a lot of fun things that we can kind of come up with that are definitely nature based. I feel mountain biking, we've done that before. We have Mount Laguna not too far from here as well. So lots of things like that.
Beautiful. Well, you keep yourself busy in your free time.
We do.
Indeed.
Well, Michael, besides your free time in your professional life, you are a divorce attorney and you have introduced this, I think, fascinating concept of conscious divorce. Could you please explain a little bit what this concept entails and how you came up with this idea and what actually inspired you to merge your legal experience with this more mindful and compassionate approach to divorce proceedings?
Well, I did litigation for a long time and for many years, and I never enjoyed it. I mean, my focus was always on, hey, let's sit down, be reasonable, figure out a way to resolve whatever the issues are. And I would always kind of run into opposition from the other attorneys that would be involved. They weren't necessarily that incentivized to settle. Less billable hours that way, I guess.
Right.
And what the part that I enjoyed most of the work that I was doing was a client would come in, sit down in my office, have a bunch of questions. I would answer those questions and I would provide them with some feedback. And often a lot of the things that came up were kind of emotional based, right? That might get in the way of seeing a reasonable way to resolve some kind of issue. And I really wanted some better tools to be able to help folks kind of resolve some of those underlying issues that they would have. So looked into some different options to getting some additional training with that. As you know, found the University of Santa Monica and went and got my master's degree in spiritual psychology. And as our second year project, as you know, there's always some kind of thesis or project to work on that you commit to for the year. Mine was on developing a different business model that was more sustainable for folks, that offered better opportunities for healing, and also for myself, kind of cut out the things that I didn't like so much about my practice.
Right.
And that's really where I came up with, it's focused on cooperatively resolving issues in a kind of heart-centered approach where it's really focus on dialogue, working through underlying concerns that folks have, and instead of the adversarial system. And, I've really gotten to grow into what we do more. I think I was always looking for, okay, I'm just going to be doing this until I figure out something else I want to do with my life. And now I find that I've created a practice that is really more sustainable for me as well. It's the parts of it that I enjoy, sitting down with somebody and just explaining how stuff works, helping them come up with sometimes creative options on resolving whatever the problems are.
Wow, you're really helping people in a much deeper and meaningful way.
Yeah, and it's really like helping people avoid the pitfalls that traditional litigation, the divorce drama stories that we've heard, like helping people avoid those paths, giving a different alternative in a way to find solutions that are going to be workable and sustainable, and so that they can also go through the healing process and be able to move on with their lives instead of being caught up in the adversarial, very conflict-driven role that traditional litigation would kind of encourage.
Janessa, and you help Michael, right? So you work together.
Yeah, we do. We're a team. I, assist with project management and lots of the legal paperwork as well. Mike, obviously being the family law attorney, helps explain the law, helps mediate, help couples find solutions and stay out of the court system. So I found that we work well as a team together and have really been able to use our skill set. I also went to USM and got my master's as well. So we both have that kind of shared set to bring and help, people with this part of their life that can be very challenging, and understand how, we can best assist them moving through it.
Right. Janessa, and do you think that living in Julian somehow helps, the process that you go through with you and Michael and clients? So this conscious divorce and Julian. So is there some connection?
I think that it's really helpful for us as facilitators to also find calmness and groundness for ourselves and to be able to bring that to people that we help. So being in place that is supportive of that definitely can help us feel recharged and able to, work in that capacity. So having, the nature around and being able to go outside and kind of take a moment. At least I know I like to do that a lot throughout my workday is, go outside and I have my chickens that I go and feed, or I go and like water the plants. So it's a nice grounding element to help, to not take on the stress that maybe some of our clients are going through, but and be able to, provide some stability for them as well as us.
Mhm. Yes, that totally makes sense. So basically, Michael, you do not only act as an attorney, but you also act as a therapist.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would say I wouldn't necessarily describe it in, because I definitely think that people should find a good therapist to work with when they're going through the process. I certainly do the best that I can to be able to provide that kind of support. I would say it's kind of more of shining light on areas that perhaps we could go a little bit deeper, working with someone else to assist them to really get through the healing process, kind of maybe on a little bit deeper of a level.
Mm-hmm.
And I just say that because most of the work that I do with clients is, I'm sitting down with a couple and we're going through all the different legal issues that are involved. And we might do that at a 2-hour mediation session. I wish I had a little bit more time to get through, some of the excellent resources and tools to apply those skills to really hone in on what's going on. But I think for what I do, I want to try to keep everything as cost effective as possible for people.
Mm-hmm.
So there have to be some sacrifices here and there, and streamlining the process, a bit is kind of what I have found to be a good fit for me. But I'm not replacing the role of a therapist.
Of course not. Yes.
But I'm definitely doing everything that I can to present healing opportunities and for people to be able to take their own kind of responsibility and ownership for their emotions and where they are, so that they can recognize how to work on themselves, as opposed to it's just always the other person's fault,
Yes, you add mindfulness to the process.
That's the goal for sure.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. And could you please share maybe certain specific success stories or meaningful experiences from implementing the conscious divorce approach?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, I think there's been a lot of different types of clients that have come. Some of them come from a background of being kind of stuck in litigation for a while. And then we can work through everything, get it resolved, and they're just amazed at how simple that it could be. So those are kind of the most fun, because they're the ones that really see what it was like to do it in the conventional way that's pretty dysfunctional,
Mm-hmm.
and then to try something that's, just simpler and just sound, that seems to be more rational. And why can't we just always just do this? Right.
Right.
So those are great ones. And I've ended up having a lot of close friends that are still my good friends after, 10 years later, after helping them get resolved in their divorce situation, to now still be good friends with them, because they really, I guess I empowered them to be able to see a kind of clear way to resolve things, as opposed to looking at things from the perspective of the energy that caused the problem, right? So if it's always all about the conflict, the upset, the finger pointing, and then you're trying to solve problems with that mindset, you generally just generate more problems. So just being able to come in with calmness and provide some clarity, and then people can usually just see the solution to their problems from that like kind of elevated perspective.
Yes.
So that's, when that happens and you see that kind of as an aha for folks that realize like, wow, okay, I didn't even realize that it could be that easy to resolve something. And it's, then it's really more meaningful and impactful. When that happens, it's always it's a pleasure for me.
Mm-hmm. Wow, what a powerful approach. Really, really, that both you and Janessa implement, and it's incredible just to help people see something that they wouldn't see otherwise, and it's almost like becoming more self-aware. And the fact that you've had friendships that grew out of some of your cases, this is just absolutely incredible, and it's such a testament to your mindful practice. Amazing. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, of course. It's our pleasure.
So, my next question is, could you please share an anecdote or maybe a personal story that exemplifies the intertwining of your life, your community, and the essence of Julian?
Yes, actually, when we first moved up here, we were at a local restaurant and watching soccer, like that was on the television, and ended up striking up a conversation with the owner of the restaurant and found out that he's a big soccer fan. We're big soccer fans, and that was even before we lived up here.
Right.
And then eventually, when we did move up here, we ended up being really great friends with him. He ended up helping us do a lot of remodeling on our house, and just out of the kindness of his heart, and helping him as coaches on the high school soccer team, which was fun. And then eventually, when they moved their restaurant, we returned the favor and helped him to remodel his restaurant, and was just such a fun way to build a friendship, and have many examples of stories like that where you just find people within the community that you end up building friendships. We even went with him and his family down to his hometown in Mexico, met his family, like has been really grown, a part of our family as well. And I feel like that's a very common thing that happens in a small town that you wouldn't imagine, at least for me, growing up in a larger, town in Los Angeles, that you would make friendships like that as an adult.
Yes.
It feels like those are kind of the things that, as kids, you have those kind of stories, but it's pretty neat to have something like that.
Wow.
Build those kind of ongoing relationships as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what a lovely story. Thank you so much for sharing. Well, my next question to you is about your home. It must hold a very special place in your heart. What does your home in Julian mean to you and your family? How would you describe it?
Probably it's really we got to completely remodel the place. I mean, it had good bones when we bought it, but it wasn't very pretty inside. So we completely gutted everything and really made it our own. I loved the architecture of it, and that's what led us to buy it. But once it was updated, it then kind of became a kind of a centralized meeting place for family. And then subsequently, my son and his wife and now our granddaughter, they bought a house around the corner, like 2 houses down from us. But ours seems to be where they just everybody comes for dinner. We meet pretty regularly. My mom, who is about to retire, we have a little apartment property as well, and she's going to be moving here and with us full time. So it just really became a centralized place for the whole family, and it's very special for us to be able to have a place like that we can share with everybody. And, my daughter and her boyfriend come up quite frequently. It seems to be, it's nice because we don't necessarily have to go visit folks as much, driving away. Everybody seems to love to come here, which we're really happy that we've created a place that's comfortable and enjoyable for everyone to kind of hang out.
Yes, it sounds like a sanctuary in a way.
It is
for us.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I'd love to garden and to have the, property outside to be able to plant things and kind of see them grow over time. Like I just picked a whole bunch of peaches from a tree I planted. And like, that is what's really special to me, is like having that as well as part of our home, is the whole property and the outside space, which is so special to me.
Very, very special. Janessa, what would you say is the heart of your home?
Oh gosh, the heart of the home. Well, that's always got to be the kitchen, right?
Very often it is. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Everybody ends up hanging around the island in the kitchen. That's always the place.
That's always the place of gathering and nurturing. So it's beautiful. So I have a few very quick blitz questions about Julian. Maybe you could just name a few places that you like. And the first question, what is your favorite store?
Well, my favorite store, it's called Crow and Lilac. It's owned by a good friend of mine. It's all natural body care products. Like she makes everything with essential oils and has all kinds of wonderful lotions and homemade soaps and like really cute gifts. It's such a quaint little shop, and I always love to get people gifts from there because everything is so lovely And Shannon is the owner. She's a great gal. So
Very
good to
nice.
have that
And what
place.
is the name again? I didn't catch it.
Pro and Lilac?
Oh, Pro and
Yeah.
Lilac. Very nice. Okay. Do you guys have a favorite restaurant?
Yeah, I would say our friend, it's a Mexican restaurant called Quecho, named after Quecholac, his hometown that we've been to multiple times with him. That's great if you love Mexican food. Julian Beer Company is great for some excellent craft beer, all local, brewed there. And they also barbecue, smoke all their own meats and everything. Their pizza's pretty good as well. And I'd say probably for something fancy, Jeremy's on the Hill would be the recommendation. Jeremy's also a good friend of ours, and he does an excellent job. Cordon Bleu trained chef.
Very nice. Wow, you won't get hungry, Julian. You know everybody who owns a restaurant.
We do.
That's true.
That is a nice thing about Julian is there's nothing's chain here. Everything is family owned, and I'd love to support the local business owners.
Yeah, they don't allow franchise, like stores or restaurants or anything.
That's great. That's great. And what about your favorite coffee place?
Well, to be honest, my favorite coffee place is my kitchen. I do. I'm a little biased, very particular on my coffee. But in town, there's a Purple Owl Cafe. It has great coffee. And there's also Julian Beer Company. It has a cute little coffee shop annex that has little treats in there as well. So there's another place. What was that? Oh, gosh.
Cali Cafe. That's new.
Yeah, it's new.
A couple of new places.
A couple of new places I haven't tried yet. So I'll have to get back to you on those ones. Those are some good options.
Well, that sounds wonderful. And, the coffee places, the restaurants, and the store for gifts and wonderful nurturing products sounds amazing. So, well, thank you so much for sharing your story, sharing your home in Julian and sharing this amazing concept that you have been working on and developing and helping so many people, because anything that we do consciously and mindfully is truly the best thing that we can do for ourselves and for others. So thank you for sharing your experience and your expertise as well.
Thank you for inviting us on. It's been an absolute pleasure to share a little bit about what's exciting for us.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you so much.
Of course. Well, until next time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Masha. Thanks so much.
Of course. Thank you, Michael and Janessa. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for tuning in to Feel and Experience Julian with my special guests, Michael and Janessa Cotugno. If you enjoy my podcast, In the Mood for California, please sign up for future episodes at your preferred platform, and please leave your feedback. I really appreciate your time and support. You can follow me on Instagram at In the Mood for California, and check out my website, www.inthemoodforcalifornia.com. I'm a realtor with Beverly & Company Luxury Properties, and my license number is 019-78714. Selling and buying homes with soul is not just my real estate strategy. It is an intuitive and holistic approach that embraces your values, aspirations, and conscious intentions. If you want to discover the power of mindfulness in your real estate journey with my compassionate guidance, I'm here for you. Next time, we'll immerse ourselves in the enchanting realm of Shakespeare, embarking on a thought-provoking journey through the convergence of culture, art, and the dynamic spirit of Los Angeles. Cannot wait to have this experience with you.
In the Mood for California, feel the soul of Old Hollywood.